Hello everyone, Michelle here from the Creative Cove. Thanks for joining me today. Today's video is making these fun little tags with some sketches I have kicking around and using up some scraps. So I have done some past videos of these little mini sketches on business cards, and I thought I've had them sitting around on my desk for probably I'm going to say a year, maybe even 2 years now. I put them in these little business card holders, and I'll use them up when the mood hits, and then I'll do some different sketches and fill up the book again. So today is using up these little tags and stickers. These are peel and stick labels, and the other ones in the folder are little mini business cards that I have inked and torn up, and I will try and remember to link those videos below for you. Today I just wanted to use them. So I have some scraps of paper that I need to use, and we're just going to do some layering here. I'm going to fold them up, ink them, make some pretty tags, use up some other bits and bobs I have. If you've been following my channel for a while now, you know that I like to discover something and then mass make it, and then I'll keep it on my desk until I'm ready to use it up for the next step. So this is the next step, where I'm going to turn a bunch of these into some functional pieces that will also sit on my desk waiting to be inserted into a journal. And I love doing this. This is kind of a relaxing thing for me, kind of therapeutic, playing with paper. I love using up some sketches. I think real personal touch to a journal when you add your own little artworks in, whether they're, coloring in a stamp or drawing a sketch, doing a little doodle with watercolor paper, anything. Even beautiful handwriting to me is artwork. And putting your own little personal touch and spin on things, I think, makes the journal that much more elevated, and if you're giving it away, even more appreciated. So I'm just inking up the edges. This is an old piece of site paper. It was a book I got from a secondhand shop, and I had wished that I had photocopied more of the pages. I only had scanned one page, and every time I find this paper, it makes me happy. It's just the prettiest paper. It's got mapping on it, and rivers drawn into it. It's an old, I think they're etches, and then it's got this beautiful etched border, and it was a beautiful book. I paid quite a bit for it, actually, but it had a lot of paper, and I've used it over the years, and I only have these scraps left, so I just get so excited when I discover one in my little scrap bin. Something about paper and finding papers that have textures on it that speak to you make crafts like this so much more enjoyable. When you discover a piece of paper that has a texture to it, or even if you're buying like pads of scrapbook paper, it's important that that paper talks to you and inspires you somehow, whether it's through its color or its texture. So this has a really beautiful border, and I just love this paper. I'm ranting on. So here's a couple of other ones that I did before I turned the camera on, and they're fold-ups. I'm going to put them through the sewing machine and make pockets, and I'm also going to make tags. I just wanted to show you those quickly, and then we'll make a couple more here, and then I'll run them through the sewing machine. So here's another sticker. So I have shown in a video that I have a whack load of secondhand stationery. So I'll pick up anything that has a peel and stick or little business cards or textured paper that I find. I love to use these because they give you kind of a limited size that you have to draw in. If that makes sense, you kind of have to design a composition within that size, whether it's a label or a business card. And I like that challenge. And I talk about that quite a bit in those other videos. And I hope you do click on those and give sketching a try. They're all little botanical sketches. I have one with herbs and wildflowers, grasses, all those things. I also do have digital kits available on my Etsy store if drawing is not your cup of tea. I totally understand that. It's not for everyone. You can order them there if you wanted to use some of my sketches for this project. But I would encourage you to pick up a pencil and follow along with those sketches. You might be inspired. You might be surprised at what you're capable of doing just by following a few instructions. It's like someone trying to teach me to bake. I can do it if I have someone show me step by step. But baking on my own, not so much. So here I'm just going to reinforce a couple of corners with some glue. Here's another piece of that beautiful paper that I love so much. This one I had coffee dyed, and I don't know what it is. Some papers I just fall in love with. And not only the design of them, but the texture of the paper, you know, the feel of it. Is it soft? Is it rough? Is it shiny? All these things. Journaling is a very textile thing, and you have to love paper and touching it in order to want to create this sort of art. And I love the layered look. There's just something about framing a little piece of art with paper that makes me very happy. And it's a simple step, you know, there's nothing too elaborate about this. It's just playing. I'm not stressed about anything. I'm just layering up, and then when I get to something I like, I'll glue it together. So I'm looking through my little layers of tags here. I did a video on how I made these tags as well as from a file folder and some stamps. And then I just used my new punch that I got the other day. I was really excited. I treated myself to 2 new punches, tab punches. So I'm just going to glue this on, and then I will also run that through the sewing machine. So now I'll put the labels away and work with some little mini business cards. So these are original sketches, and I've inked them in different colors. And this business card that I have almost has a kind of, what's the word? Trying to think, a linen feel to this paper. So when I inked it, it had some really beautiful texture left over. And again, just from the thrift shop. I will link that video below. Hopefully I remember. So I'm just going to glue it down to some different textured papers here. I think this is an old phone book or something. And again, just using up my scraps. I am a very neutral person when it comes to working in journals. I rarely use color. I went through a color phase, but now I'm into the neutrals. They really speak to me lately. I even did my Christmas decorations this year very neutral, which is also rare for me because I usually do the reds, greens, and whites. But this year I just went with brown, green, and white, and I'm really enjoying it. It's nice to switch it up. So I'll probably go back to color at some point where I'll be inspired maybe in the springtime to use some colors. But I do love the simple nature of neutral color palettes, and they're pleasing to me. So this is what I've been using a lot lately. And I'll glue them down to several layers till I get a thickness that I'm looking for, whether it's to make a journal, a journal tag or a label of some kind, and using up these lovely little neutral scraps. I've done a little editing here where I'll cut out the obvious step here of cutting around the papers and stuff. Pretty sure you can understand where I went with it. And then otherwise the video gets to be a little too long. So this is what I keep on my desk, all my little bits and pieces that I've made recently, and then I tell myself I've got to use them up before I start another mass make. It's the way I try to stay on top of all the stuff on my desk. Otherwise I get overrun, and then I forget to use things, which isn't so bad because then you can discover them a few months later when you're moving things around and they can re-inspire you. But I do tend to try and use up as much as possible once I've made them. Just want to make sure that I don't get overwhelmed, which is easy to do, especially when you're in a serious creative mojo and you're just on a roll creating things. You don't want to stop. And that's, I get that way as well. But right now I'm trying to use up some of these pieces that I've done in past videos, these recent past videos, and kind of apply them to different pieces to create new pieces. These are some old, one of them is an old stamp that I had carved, and this one is just a sketch, I believe. It might have been a stamp as well that I had carved. I do like to do my own botanical carvings sometimes. Again, when the creative mood hits to carve something, or I have something in mind and I don't have that stamp, or I don't want to draw it all the time, I want to just stamp it. This is actually another stamp now that I'm thinking about it. And then I just went around it with pen. And again, this is just another way to use up scraps by stamping your own personal stamps. I use like a type of linoleum. It's called something. It's pink. Lino, I think. I can't think off the top of my head what that's called. But I just buy it on Amazon and just carve into it. I have some carving videos as well. It's so much fun. It can be frustrating at times. You know, if you make a mistake, you're kind of stuck with that mistake. But at the same time, you can create stamps that nobody else has. And it comes from your own little imagination as well as your skill at carving. And I don't know, the other one that's just off frame right now, that one was a mistake. I had screwed up quite a bit, and then I just ended up cutting the edges a little with the curved bit, and it created these really fun texturized little leaves. And it's one of my favorite stamps now. So, you know, even if you're not good at carving, you can still create stuff that you love. So that one just got glued down and cut out. And then I've accumulated a few more scraps, and going to do some more here that I'll just put on a little fast forward so it's not quite so tedious. So I'm just going to repeat the process here using different scraps. I do use a little bit of folded paper here to make different kind of pockets and things. So I'm just going to let this play, and we'll see you at the end and look at the results. All right, so I slowed the video back down now, and I'll show you the final results here. Everything's been sewn. So I have been having fun with my sewing machine. I feel like these old vintage pieces need a little extra texture with the sewing, and some are, you know, really well done, neat and nicely all the way around, and others I just throw through the machine and let the sewing machine grab it and do what it wants with it. I really like folding these pockets. They're super easy to do. You're just taking a piece of paper, and what I like folding it, and then what I like is the inside is finished as well in the pocket. So you just need a big enough scrap to do that with. And I find that every one of these turned out really nicely. That's the varnished flowers leaves, which I showed recently in another video. I left this one blank, so when you insert it into a journal, you can sketch on it. Some of these tags turned out really lovely. There's a couple I really like. I really like this one. There's just something about this layered paper that really makes me very happy to look at. Sometimes it's just nice to accumulate these things and collect them, you know. They're hard to let go of sometimes. I really like this one as well. I like the tag on this. And I double sewed it all the way around. And I think that makes it polished, actually, quite nicely. That was the last one we made, where I turned it into a little bit of a pocket and kept the plain side exposed. And now we can put some in our journals. So these are some journals I'm currently working on, little ones that I made out of old book covers. And I'm just slowly starting to glue things in it. And I think something this simple just elevates the whole thing. I really love that it can be as easy as gluing something in. You can staple it in, and you've included a beautiful little sketch or a pressed flower or whatever it is that you're into, drawings, watercolors. And now you're building up a journal that, you know, is not... And don't get me wrong, digital kits are great. I sell digital kits, but it is really nice to introduce something really, really handmade from scratch. So I'll put another one in here and see what page I want to work with. And you can see a lot of my stuff has handmade already. That was the tag we did the other day. And I'm just trying to figure out where I want to put things. That first journal was getting kind of full. This one's getting a little full as well. Just kind of going through. It's nice to revisit your journals as you're working on them. That's why I almost never build a solid journal all at once. I tend to flip back and forth within journals because it's nice to revisit them and think, oh yeah, I remember making that. Oh, I like that. I should make more of those. Just playing with some different options here. And again, flipping through, I just love revisiting things. It's nice too, because you can easily forget, you know, where you put pockets and stuff. Did I put a pocket there? Can I remove that and put another piece in? And just keep playing until you build a journal you're totally satisfied with. So just little inserts throughout. Hopefully these little flip throughs give you a little inspiration as to include extra things in your journal. Lots of little sketches. So there's some current journals I'm working on. Kind of repeating myself here. This is another one with a pressed flower, pressed leaves. So I haven't put much in this one. I don't think I've actually put anything in this one yet. So we'll do that right now. And there we go, just a little insert with a really cute little tag. I hope this video gave you some inspiration on using up some scraps and some of your pretty little drawings, your stamps, whatever you have handy. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, everyone. Bye.